All right, so what I wanted to do is go through a resource I found that's specifically designed to teach like math teachers how to use LaTeX. I just wanted to like dissect this resource, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, how I've found it useful. So, got to share my screen. All right. So this resource, I don't really know what his name is. I assume the last name is McKinnon. It's a learning resource for math teachers, and he's divided it up by modules. The first one is, just an introduction to what is LaTeX. And then it ends with like looking at LaTeX as a resource for improving digital literacy. So just right away, some things I really like about this are the organization of the page. If I had more time, I think that a structure like this could be really effective in presenting my knowledge of LaTeX and helping make it applicable for teachers. I don't think I have enough time to create something this in-depth, but it's nice, but I don't really need to because I think this is a good resource that people can benefit from. One thing, so just like looking through this, one thing I really liked about this is again, like it's very obviously a teacher, setting this up, right? They have like the objectives for the student, some guiding questions, and then at the end, they have like a little learning checklist. And then after you finish all 5 modules, there's also like a learning quiz over commands. I think that's super effective. Like I didn't really think about using exit tickets in my intro to LaTeX tech dive, but I really like this feature. I guess one thing I like in particular about this is that he presents some really good questions that I personally had not considered about LaTeX. Like, to me, I presented LaTeX as a benefit because, like, a benefit to students because it was typeset, like everything is uniform, the spacing is uniform. There's no ambiguity about like teacher handwriting, but at the same time, like it takes significantly more effort for a teacher to show their work in LaTeX than it does on a piece of paper. And seeing work is extremely valuable to students. So I like these questions because they made me think about weaknesses of LaTeX that I had not previously thought about. And then, I like this statement here about LaTeX can be, another tool in your tool belt. I think that's great. Like, I certainly agree that LaTeX is not, the end all be all. There's other efficient ways to typeset, exams, problem sets, whatever. But I think there's contexts where it could be more valuable than other platforms. So let me see the module. Another thing I really liked is, I think it's in module 5. Yeah. All right, so in LaTeX is digital literacy. I like this little image to show how LaTeX can sort of be at the center of all of these other platforms. How it can interface with GeoGebra and Google Docs and Wikipedia and all these other resources. I don't know what MathJax is, but this little leaf symbol is Overleaf, which is just an online form that you can use LaTeX in. And I like displaying this as, sort of a hub to enclose other things teachers are already using and doing, right? It doesn't need to be something additional. It doesn't need to be something that you have to like add on. Ultimately, I think LaTeX can be a synthesis, like a way to house all these different things and provide some cohesion. As far as like, so those are the things I like. I think that this presents some good questions for me to consider. I think this is pretty intuitive for teachers. It's not overwhelming, the information presented. If we look at the essential commands, this is a pretty short page. There's nothing like too terrible about this. I think, but at the same time, This is very limited. I don't think that they go into like even how to use, multiplying, dividing. He does fractions, but the division symbol is another symbol. So I think in terms of the amount of content and information here, it's a little lacking. This is not everything you need to know in order to do a math class, especially one that would be a high school math class for sure. So that was one weakness I saw with this. And also, like, I love this module format. It's great for teachers to use this maybe like as a one-time resource where they go through and this is like a course that they complete. I don't know that this is the most effective way to refer back. If you're like, oh shoot, I forgot how to write a fraction, right? It takes you like 5 clicks to go through here. You have to do, you have to get to the website, and then you got to click on modules, and then you got to be like, oh, where do I think he talked about fraction? And then it's under essential LaTeX commands. You got to scroll down, and it's right here, right? It's not easily accessible, That probably took me a minute if I didn't already have a browser window open. So looking at that, one goal I had is, this sort of inspired me to create my own like 1-page doc. It's going to be more than 1 page, but my own like powerhouse of all the commands I'm using, just a short description. Be like, I forgot how to write a matrix. I go in that document, everything is right there. I don't have to do too much scrolling. I don't have to navigate underneath tabs. It's all just right there on one document. It's visually accessible, because this is not really visually accessible. You just have to go through too many hoops. But overall, I think this is a great resource. I like that it makes you think critically about, how we use math, how we use tech in a math classroom, and honestly, how we communicate math, because LaTeX is just a different way to communicate math. And I think that is really the guiding question here. Is it a way to more effectively communicate math? So I really appreciate that this resource sort of, challenges me to think about that. Same time, it definitely is not adequate for my own needs, which is why I created my own sort of how-to guide of all the functions.